Hey guys, May Astrology 2023, our first official week. Let's get into it. Today we are going to be looking at the energy of May 3rd and May 4th, 2023 in the context of a Neptune-Venus square that is playing out between the signs of Gemini and Pisces, while we simultaneously have a Libra moon pointing to Venus in the square with Neptune, and Mercury's also retrograde. This is not a couple of days, you guys, especially also being in an eclipse window, heading towards this full moon, which is about release and detachment, lunar eclipse, which is also about, eclipsing something, taking something away. This is not the time where we want to be like signing contracts, making deals, getting into relationships, making serious long-term commitments having to do with our heart or with our finances. Because of the nature of the Mercury retrograde and the Venus and Gemini squared to Neptune, anything along these lines has a tendency of not panning out or ending in some type of a disappointment. So we are heading through our week this week, building into the full moon energy that's coming at us on the 5th, with that in mind. So all of that being said, you guys, let's get into our chart of the day. Let's look at this energy in a little bit more detail and see how things are coming together for us, what things might look like for us, what we can expect as we go throughout the course of this next couple days, building into this powerful full moon energy. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. We are looking at how the energy activations are happening on a daily basis at this point in time in the context of this grand unfolding cosmic blueprint that is ushering us into the age of Aquarius. It is not fully upon us yet, you guys. I don't believe, in my opinion, I don't think we will truly realize the extent of the shifts that have taken place for honestly like another couple hundred years, but the seeds are definitely being planted now and they are starting to break through the soil. That's where we're at, in my opinion, in this transition of ages process, and I like to look at the energy on this channel on a daily basis. Again, in the context of these subtle changes as they are happening, but ultimately will lead to this greater unfolding shift that is affecting us on a very collective level, moving forward into the future. This is just the beginning, you guys, and we're talking about it here. We're talking about it now. And this month of May, if you guys missed my May overview, I would highly recommend checking that out, because we've got a very significant month of energy unfolding for this month of May that is characterized by a super intense grand cross and fixed signs that is literally going to be like occupying the last 2 months or last 2 weeks of the month of May. This is life-changing stuff. We've also got, this is Uranus season also, because Uranus is currently in Taurus. We're in Taurus season, and the sun is coming into a conjunction with Uranus this month as well. So we've got crazy 0-degree T-squares with big planets and fixed signs coming up the end of the month. We start the month this week, actually right immediately sort of following this lunar eclipse full moon. This is also intense in and of its own regard that we have coming up right now. We are going to be moving next week into the sun conjunct Uranus, our yearly sun conjunct Uranus transit. So this whole month is really quite lit, you guys, and it's going to be probably life-changing. Probably some monumental things, situations playing out as we go through this period of time. So that being said, we are starting in some quite interesting energy as well. We started the month of May actually on Monday with Mercury Sun conjunction, with Mercury being retrograde. It's going to be a very busy month as well. I expect some really crazy news cycles, lots going on, lots to do, sort of lots popping up, like weird, bizarre, out of the ordinary conversations and interactions and desires to like really change things up, switch things up, seeking freedom perhaps on some really deep levels as well with all of this Uranus activation. Sorry, a big gust of wind just like blasted through the window right when I said that. So that might be some validation on that point. But anyways, let's get into our charts, you guys. Let's talk about it. Actually, in this video, I'm not specifically focusing on May 3rd, even though I'm releasing this on May 3rd. May 3rd energy is very much encompassed, okay, in what I'm specifically talking about, which is May 4th, because May 4th, this activation will be exact. However, May 3rd, and also actually on the 2nd, as this energy is building, we have the moon transiting the sign of Libra, which is ruled by Venus, which is really like putting the emphasis, really triggering and activating this energy that will be coming exact, the Venus-Neptune square on the 4th. So it's probably very strong on the 3rd as well, probably feeling it on the 2nd. I'm really calling it for this whole week, but this is the energy that's building us into this full moon lunar eclipse that we have coming up. And I kind of feel like this could also be putting an emphasis on things from the past, people from the past, relationships, financial agreements, partnerships, things, projects that we've been working on perhaps and stuff, that maybe like we're discovering we're like untruthful or unclear or unstraightforward, or just like lacking honesty or integrity in some type of a way. Coming up now that maybe we, because of what we're finding out, perhaps, maybe destroying an illusion in some way for us or another, and allowing us to release and let go and move on from something. Before we really get into this energy, what I will say is that whatever it's triggering is likely to be associated with or lead to or in some way connected to what's being eclipsed with this lunar eclipse, or what we're releasing or what we're letting go of, or the, you know, the fated culmination, the fated ending, or the karmic release that it's also signifying, being a south node eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, the last one in this Taurus Scorpio axis. This eclipse, lunar eclipse, full moon that's coming up Friday is definitely signifying some like fated endings, okay? Like things that we are breaking cycles, coming to the end of, you know, this past year and a half, I've been talking all about this karmic detox process that, in my opinion, the transits of the nodes, North Node Taurus, South Node Scorpio, represent. And I think like this is the like final like notch in that belt, like the final activation, like this is the final push, okay, that is causing us to exit like our old emotional, psychological, subconscious attachments that like had us on this deep level, keeping us like in these cycles of karmic, perpetuated, generational, whatever type of cyclical behavior. I feel like this is the energy coming through, and you know, it's probably going to hit us on a real emotional level. But there's a lot of other energy going on, you know, leading up to it, that, you know, this Neptune, Venus square with the moon transiting Libra right before it, and also Mercury retrograde ruling the position of Venus. Like, it could be clearing a lot of things up for us from the past that had kept us in those states of attachment, perhaps, and facilitating the process that is coming with this full moon. So, you know, it's just, it is likely to be playing into whatever we've got coming up, going on, heading into the weekend, like the stuff that's transpiring this week. And I also want to say, believe no one. And I'm kind of chuckling about that a little bit, but it's kind of true also. And it's not even necessarily intentional, although it may be very intentional in a lot of cases. But I feel like, you know, people are sort of wanting things to be or to look a certain way, and just maybe like whatever's going on, even if it's pure intention, could ultimately be sort of unrealistic, okay? So that being said, now let's get into specifics. The first thing that I want to say, again, do not jump into things today. Don't take people too seriously today and tomorrow, all this week actually, because like, things are just not as they seem, okay? Relationships, partnerships, deals, agreements specifically, hold off. People are projecting their best selves in this energy, saying whatever they need to say to keep the peace, to save face, to not rock the boat, to just seem wonderful and amazing, very idealistic, very like fantasizing type of energy, too good to be true type of energy, not a very honest energy. Like I said, when we're dealing with Neptune, this has a lot to do a lot of times with deception or manipulation or projection, or like an almost like hypnotic air to it, and it can be illusions and delusions, and it's just this very like shrouded, hard to pin down, like evasive, okay, type of energy. When we're dealing with Venus in the sign of Gemini, specifically with Mercury going retrograde, this is also a bit dicey. This is very non-committal, and this can also be lacking a bit of straightforwardness. Gemini notoriously can be a sign of being sort of like two-faced and not straightforward when operating out of like the lower octaves. And, you know, Venus in the sign of Gemini, that's like what we want, what we desire. We don't want to be clear. We don't want to be straightforward. Coming into the square with Neptune, any planet, any personal planet making a square or harsh aspect to Neptune, in my experience, can promote dishonesty and deception. And, you know, then also we add into it the fact that the moon is transiting the sign of Libra, which is ruled by Venus. So on this emotional level as well, we're really hooked into this, like, wanting to project this perfect image, whether or not we know it's actually true or attainable, in order to, like, get something that we want, or to like salvage some inner peace or some harmony, or just to like satisfy something internally with that moon in Libra. So, you know, I will say this is really great energy for any type of creativity, okay? Creative work, art, music, design, or any type of career that actively involves like lying for a living, like, you know, to put it most bluntly, like any type of maybe like PR, or like people that are have to like spin situations, or like lawyers, I don't know. You know, I don't mean that in like a bad way, but we're just calling it what it is. And it would be good for something like that. Like, this is great energy to sort of like spin a narrative, okay, and like put it out there and like act all smooth, and like it's just, you know, oh, this is what's going on. But I just really wouldn't be buying necessarily what people are selling in this energy. I wouldn't necessarily believe one word that's coming out of anybody's mouth in this energy, especially, again, if it's pertaining to, you know, financial agreements or deals or situations, or what someone's trying to sell you for sure today. And also, people from the past, old relationships coming back. People could also be feeling like kind of nostalgic over this next couple days, building into this ultimate release energy. And it's just, we're not likely to end in much besides disappointment if we decide to commit ourselves or attach ourselves to whatever is being projected to us, okay, with this type of energy going on. Venus square Neptune usually brings some type of a disappointment in the end, because things don't pan out. Remember, we're dealing with Neptune. Neptune dissolves things, Neptune erodes things, Neptune fades things away. And, you know, Venus, love and money, the square aspect, you know, this conflicting energy. Mercury retrograde also notoriously not good for like signing deals, making arrangements, involving ourselves. The mutual reception going on also between Mercury and Venus. Like, this is a very, again, like non-committal, non-straightforward, not like pinned down energy. And I just wouldn't commit to really anything or take too seriously anything that anyone is saying in this energy. It's also not really great for any type of communication or technology because of the Mercury retrograde, mutual reception, Venus, Mercury energy in the square to Neptune, which again breaks things down, dissolves things. There could be a lot of like technology failures and stuff, and it really is highlighting the Mercury retrograde and Taurus energy that we have right now, especially also with the moon transiting the sign of Libra, because this, of course, Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is in Gemini in the mutual reception with Mercury, who is retrograde, while she is also in square to Neptune, which confuses things, disorients things, breaks things down. There could be some very strong intuitive guidance coming through today on like a deep level, but we may even have a little bit of an issue trusting ourselves, or trusting our own gut, trusting our own like intuitive urges and like stuff like that in this energy also. Things just are generally kind of disoriented. That's why I'm saying, like, it's not even necessarily intentional, although people that are intentionally deceptive, like for a living, or because it's just like how they do or what they are or how they live, like they probably will be able to come up with some good stuff in this energy, because that's how it operates. So again, if you have a tendency of being a bit naive about things, today's probably the day where you don't really want to engage. And it's also interesting, okay, because not only do we have Venus in the square to Neptune, but we also have Mars moving into a trine with Neptune, which is another energy that's coming up that we're going to be talking more about as time goes on and we move through this week. But Mars is our action, right? So like, not only may people be like talking a good game or like have like a good sales pitch or, you know, be like projecting some type of beautiful ideal or fantasy, but they may actually be like ready to kind of like act or engage in whatever projection or fantasy or delusion that they are happening to desire, you know, Venus ruling our wants and desires in the square to Neptune at the moment. And also, especially with the moon in Libra, this is also like wanting to achieve our means and like get what we desire and get what we want and stuff like that. So there, again, this potential for just a manipulative or a more manipulative energy could bring disappointment, like I said, in love, in money, not the day where we necessarily want to engage people making pitches to us about stuff. And again, like there could be some financial issues generally that are highlighted this whole month of May 2023. I really do feel like there's a big financial or economic or resource based like shakeup or something that's going to go on, you know, just because of all this Taurus energy and a million other reasons. I touched on it again in my video for the month of May, but we're going to be talking about this a lot more as we go through the month. But we've also got that moon in Libra going to be forming an opposition to Chiron and Aries, and this is also kind of like indicating or just like putting a theme, or not a theme, putting a highlight on financial issues and stuff like that, as well as emotional wounding and disappointment before, okay, the moon moves into an opposition with Jupiter, which is expanding then this Neptune Venus energy even more, because the moon will be in Libra, which is ruled by Venus, but will be in an opposition to Jupiter, okay? And Jupiter expands everything. So this is definitely going to be expanding this like Venusian influence in the square to Neptune. So we really just sort of want to be like aware of this and conscious of it. Okay. And you know, the Jupiter moon opposition, like this is going to make people very trusting. This is going to make people very optimistic. This is going to make people in sign of Aries, Jupiter and Aries, like wanting to take a risk, wanting to jump in head first, like not really thinking about like the little details, like looking at things from like the bigger picture perspective, filled with like optimism and hope and trust and faith and belief in the outcome and situations and stuff, and all this like high octave emotional tension that's building as well, emotional energy as a result of the full moon that we're coming into. It's just sort of like a prime recipe for people kind of being maybe like taken advantage of, or I don't know, just that type of thing. But again, like maybe it's part of a lesson that needs to be learned over this next couple days, moving into this big moment of energetic release, because maybe that is the exact type of thing that we need to not be doing anymore, or not be falling for, or not be engaging in, or maybe, you know, whatever that is activating under this energy in our lives is like that which we are actually in the process of detaching from, and like that series of events is part of that ultimate detachment process. So there's a million ways that this could be all coming together and playing out, you know, across everybody's lives and experiences. But these are just some general indications that I would like maybe expect to see in this energy. It's so funny too, because Jupiter is actually at 28 degrees of Aries right now when the sun or the moon will come into opposition with Jupiter. And that Sabian symbol is a large disappointed audience. So Venus and Neptune together, you guys, like I'm telling you, it is not likely to produce the most successful outcomes, no matter how optimistic or how good we're feeling about it, or, you know, the risk or the chance we're willing to take, how much faith we have in ourselves to like, you know, make this work out. Even Jupiter is kind of talking about symbolically by the placement, well, not kind of talking about, directly talking about a large disappointed audience, like things not being maybe exactly as what we had idealized or expected them to become. So there's that. Very high hopes, but probably not real. Don't take things or people too seriously. Saying that again. And as we move through the day on Thursday, you know, it's interesting because Thursday is the day when this energy comes exact. The activation, the exact square between Venus and Neptune. Thursday will also be the day when the moon in Libra opposes Jupiter. at the very end of Aries. And then Thursday will be the day when the moon leaves Libra, enters Scorpio, and begins to come into the conjunction with the South Node, which is another dynamic and element of this energy of this Venus-Neptune square that I feel like is tying it to very much this full moon lunar eclipse that's coming up. Because, you know, now as the moon is in the sign of Scorpio, preparing to set us up into this full moon that will be happening the very next day on the 5th, the exact moon and South Node conjunction are occurring. The South Node is the past. This is karma. This is what we're releasing. This is what we're detaching from. This is, you know, the karmic detox in effect. And it will be happening in literally like exact alignment, like right around the time when Venus and Neptune come to the exact to the minute square to each other. That is also the same time when the moon will be in Scorpio and conjuncting the South Node. So the exact to the minute alignment of Venus and square to Neptune is also happening alongside the exact alignment of the moon and the South Node, which the full moon and the new moons, when they happen within a certain degree range of the nodes of the moon themselves, this is what gives us our eclipses. This is what gives us our eclipse season. And this fact that we have the full moon that's going to be happening in a close degree proximity to the South Node of the moon, this is why we are having a full moon lunar eclipse. And building into that energy alongside this Venus-Neptune square, that is the exact alignment of the moon and the South Node as the moon transits towards the full moon activation that is going to be happening, you know, a few hours later, occurring the next day. So all of that being said, to me, this does indicate that these two things are connected. This square, whatever we're idealizing or whatever illusion we're breaking through or whatever is trying to be sold to us or whatever, you know, even we're being fooled into in this energy is somehow related to what we're moving on from, what we're releasing from, and the cycles that we're breaking. It could indicate whatever's coming up in this energy is what's about to be eclipsed or released with the full moon. It could also have to do with people and lies and relationship breakdowns and things, again, that have been deceptive or dishonest, or that we found out perhaps that were going on in situations, in partnerships, in financial agreements, in arrangements, in romantic relationships, in friendships, in any of those type of dynamics in the past, with it being the South Node that is being activated in this energy. So it could go that way, or events happening now that are unfolding in this energy, or where, you know, things that are coming up for the first time in this energy could also be opening our eyes to something in such a way that is helping to trigger the fated culminations that are associated with the full moon lunar eclipse that is playing out on Friday. So maybe where we've been deceived in the past, being exposed and released, that is helping facilitate this process of moving on from something. And there's likely to be an aspect of hidden value that is related or connected as well with the Taurus energy, the Taurus vibe, and the Scorpio South Node dimension of things as well. We also have Pluto at 1 degree of the sign of Aquarius right now. We also have this full moon in a conjunction in opposition to Uranus, which awakens us to something and brings like a level and a layer of truth. So there could be something of value that is really coming to us in this energy as it's unfolding. Past emotional, karmic, and subconscious patterns being triggered, perhaps for release as well. Over idealizing and fantasizing about the past or past relationships. This is also something that could be going on with Mercury retrograde in the sign of Taurus. Oh, like the good old days, or yearning for like what once was, with the moon South Node connection as well, nostalgia coming up. This is again why I'm saying, like, be very wary of the presentation or of potential or possibilities in relation to old relationships that may be surfacing in this energy, because people may just be idealizing something from the past that isn't actually real or that isn't actually there, trying to like soothe an emotional need internally. And it's just not likely to pan out or lead to anything of any type of significance. So we need to keep that in mind, and we need to not allow ourselves to like fall for whatever emotion, whatever's tugging on our heartstrings, okay? Or whatever we would like to be, but we know just isn't a possibility. Things are just not super realistic in the way that all of this is coming together. It's time to move on. Like, that is what the energy is pushing for right now. It won't end well if we are like re-embracing things from the past that didn't work before. This is the time to extract the lessons from the things from the past and, you know, be grateful for them, but also be ready to let them go and to move on. And again, like, just to put that exclamation point on the end, Jupiter is at that degree, the large disappointed audience, emphasizing what we don't want to be doing in this energy, right? And simultaneously, like, don't lose hope though, you guys. We have the Earth today, or on Thursday rather, at 14 degrees of Scorpio. That Sabian symbol is telephone linesman at work, installing new connections. So for everything that's going out, something else is going to be coming in to replace it that is a much better, like, that is much more calibrated to a frequency that is going to resonate with us, like, on such a like deeper and more fulfilling level. So things are being worked on, you guys. This is an entire month in the period right now of divine realignments. The universe is fixing things for us and making changes for us that we haven't been able to make for ourselves, but that are ultimately definitely in our best interests. We have this Sun-Uranus conjunction coming up. This full moon that's happening on Friday will also be in a conjunction in opposition to Uranus. So sudden ending, sudden release, something like a conscious shift that just like hits us, that makes the whole process of everything like just like quick and painless perhaps, or just happen in a way like facilitated somehow. So that's what we're moving into. That's what this energy is building into. We are moving into that vibration, that Sun-Uranus conjunction with this energy this week and this full moon. Uranus is the galactic fixer, so things are being put right. We may need to wait on some blessings in disguise or find some silver linings, but it's ultimately all going to have been for the best. The right connections, people, and opportunities will come, but those are probably not the ones that are coming up now, especially again if they are from some dimension of our past somehow, or the timing also. It may also be that the timing is not quite right yet. So don't sign on the dotted line today. We're mid-eclipse season. Also not a great time, even if we didn't have all this going on to like make real serious commitments and stuff like that. Mercury's retrograde, that's, you know, also not the time, okay? And then when you add in all of this Neptune Venus square supported by the moon, Mercury retrograde, mutual reception, like all of this, it's just not an honest, not a realistic energy. This is energy for letting go of attachments, for not committing to new ones. We're right on the verge also of something new right now, and these changes that are about to happen, these new connections that are being installed. We also have Venus and Mars at interesting Sabian symbols today. Venus is 27 Gemini, a gypsy emerging from the forest. Mars is at 22 Cancer, a young woman awaiting a sailboat. So, you know, we're about to emerge into a new experience and, you know, start something new, head in a new direction, go on a new voyage or a new journey in our lives. But this period of time right now is not, things are just not as they appear, okay? We'll say it like that again. And that being said, that's what I have to say for our report today, and we will pick back up this conversation with the full moon lunar eclipse report that I will be putting out for tomorrow on Friday the 5th. So that's what I have to say for the astrology today. We're going to talk about some tarot for a minute. Now that I think about it, I don't know that I mentioned the tarot in the beginning of the video today, but oh well. Here we are. Let's talk about the tarot, which is also really interesting because when I was shuffling, I have like a system that I, you know, do just my way of like reading tarot when I do these videos. Specifically, like I have a way that I do it, and I shuffle the deck 3 times, right? And if 3 cards come out on my first shuffle, then I'll just stop there. But if 3 cards don't come out on my first shuffle, if I only get like 1 card or 2 cards or no cards, I'll shuffle 3 times. And today I shuffled 3 times and no cards came out of the deck. So I'm using the cards that were on the back of the deck today to be our message, because I just felt like that was how it was supposed to go. And it was so interesting also, the cards that happened to be on the back of the deck. And this is a very simple message, but I feel like this is also sort of where we're at right now, like in this transition. And I feel like it's just sort of a question that we need to ask ourselves. What are we going to put our energy towards, you guys? we've got the Page of Wands, and we've got the King of Wands in reverse. What are we going to put our energy towards? And then we've got the Five of Pentacles, and we've got the Ten of Pentacles, both upright. Are we going to feed negative energy, the King of Wands in reverse, into like our past states of victimhood and like feelings of lack and fear and like not fitting in, or just feeling like cast out in some type of way, or again just like victimized in some type of way? Or are we going to embrace like our potential and our value and our truth and be inspired to pursue that? Like, I just kind of feel like that's sort of where we're at right now. And these are also probably the themes that are coming up with this full moon, Taurus and Scorpio. Taurus has everything to do with the Ten of Pentacles, with value, with worth, with potential, and with what can be cultivated with that, the energy that we put in to cultivate that. The South Node in the sign of Scorpio, this has to do with where we surrender our power because we don't recognize our true value and our true worth and our true power internally. So like, what about ourselves we're willing to like give up in order to feel powerful or to feel like our needs are met, whereas we are really like surrendering our real innate power in some way by attaching ourselves to things that are stealing it from us. It's very complex and deep way that this dynamic, the Taurus and Scorpio, South Node, North Node operates. But essentially, you know, the South Node in Scorpio, this is where we are attached to things that are stealing our power because of a lack of recognition of true value within us. And with the North Node in Taurus, our job is to discover that value, discover that purpose, discover that potential, and to figure out how to grow with it. Okay. And then this is what this energy is talking about, this King of Wands in reverse and this Five of Pentacles. Or are we going to distort our energy by continuing to like feed into these cycles of lack, these feelings of lack, and these states of victimhood? So I feel like that's sort of the balancing act. That's a choice. That's the nodal axis. And that's also what this eclipse is likely to be bringing up. We need to bring ourselves to coming to a point of releasing ourselves from these self-sabotaging cycles based on subconscious programming, based in unhealed internal trauma or lack or victim complex, or, you know, Saturn also in the sign of Pisces right now, the ingrained belief that it's not possible for us or that we can't do it, or, you know, believing things that are detrimental to our own ability to produce and create abundance based on this inherent inspiration that has the potential to rise within us as well. So I feel like that's what the tarot cards are saying, you guys. Are we going to embrace and feed lack and fear and victimhood, or are we going to be inspired to pursue the potential associated with true value, true worth? That's what I think that is saying, and these may also be some themes that are presenting this week in the context of this energy, and especially moving towards this lunar eclipse. Let's get one more card now, you guys. Let's look at the, nope, let's not look at anything. Let's see what God, Spirit, Universe wants us to know, or what would just be some good advice to keep in mind as we're going through this Venus-Neptune energy, and what may be a more uncertain couple of days. And it says, God's the boss. It says, who then is that faithful and wise steward? Luke 12:42. You must do your job joyously and faithfully in the knowledge that God is your boss. Your subconscious will then respond and promote you and remove obstacles to your success. Have a constructive vision. Be faithful to your vision. Show respect for authority, and you will be prospered along all lines. That's what I was saying. You know, we need to allow ourselves to like be inspired by the vision. This is a very future-focused energy. We need to focus on what could be, what can be, what could potentially be, the opportunities that are coming to us, and not necessarily what we're having to lose or let go of or move on from in this energy. This is an energy, it's saying, you know, about surrendering the burden with the faith that things are working for us. Every man is a golden link in the chain of my good, although in this energy, I would not necessarily believe anything, like I said, that anybody is saying. Not necessarily even that people are having bad intentions. It's just that everybody is like rose-colored glassesing a little bit and wanting like to keep the peace and make everything sound like the best that it possibly can be, and we just don't necessarily want to trust everything that we're seeing or hearing or even necessarily like thinking or saying, okay, in this energy. But surrendering the burden, know that things are working for us, and staying true to the future potential, not getting sucked into feeding emotions and energy into what we're supposed to be breaking free from right now, and the people, places, things, situations that have not been good for us, that have taken advantage of us, that have made us feel cast out, that have made us feel victimized in some type of a way in the past. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you liked it. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you feel like they would like this type of astrology content as well. I would really appreciate that. Also, leave me comments. I love you guys so much. I value, honestly, like your feedback. I really appreciate knowing when you guys have experiences going on that are resonating or reflecting or matching up with the energy as it's coming through and as we're talking about it, discussing it on a daily basis. So thank you guys again so much for being here. And if you are having any experiences that do match, you know, the energy as it's coming through, please let me know in the comment section below. I also have a Facebook group, a Facebook page, Instagram, some other social media stuff in my description box below if you're interested in any of that. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys, where, as I said, we will be continuing our discussion into all of this, but in the context of our full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, the last eclipse in Scorpio that we are having for quite a while, closing out this karmic detox. So I'll be here to talk about it. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. And I'll see you then, guys. And until next time, bye.